Going to keep rolling this summer with the team previews for the 2021 college football season. And today we're looking at a team that has good coaching, good players, potential. There's a team called Clemson that's in their way in the ACC. They also got to play my Crimson Tide week one. That's right. We're looking at the Miami Hurricanes for 2021. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching today. I really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up on this video. It really helps the channel out. Subscribe if you're not already. We've been trying to hit 400 subs over here. It's a long, winding journey up that hill, isn't it? But anyways, I don't do it for all that, but also as a YouTuber, you want to see the channel grow. I do this because I'm trying to be a sportscaster, or I'm going to be a sportscaster, I should say. And I've been going through doing team previews for 2021. I know maybe I haven't been doing enough of them, and I know the season is quickly approaching. We're not even in July yet. We don't start really the big games till September 4th, Bama, Miami. We're looking at Miami today, Clemson, Georgia, and all that stuff. So, but we're going to look at the Miami Hurricanes today. Shout out to all the Miami fans, too. I watch a guy named Coach Coop. I watch Coach Hayes football. Go check him out. He does a lot of great recruiting stuff, reacting to like high school prospects, but he does a lot of Miami stuff too. Mark Rogers does a lot of Miami stuff. Shout out to the Pine Cone Man, Hurricane T2Y. Great dude. Nothing but love and respect for my Miami fans. Why am I talking about my respect for Miami fans? I don't know. Probably because they played the Tide week one. But anyways, before we get into this season, let's look back at last year. Quick summary, pandemic, we get that. 2020, we don't speak of that year. It's conference only pretty much all the way around in college football. SEC was literally all conference. Big 12, I think, was all conference. Pac 12, Big 10. But the ACC was pretty much that, plus one or two non con games. Miami, they did pretty good. They won the first three games. Then they got a bye week before their first loss of the season, 42-17 to Clemson. That was pretty tough for them. So they opened up with UAB. I did a stream for that game actually last year. Good game. They won 31-14. Then they beat Louisville, beat Florida State. They take a bye week. Didn't help them out that much though. They go to Memorial Stadium in Clemson and they get their butts kicked. Clemson beat you 42-17 Miami? How sad is that? Nah, Clemson's great. It's funny to say. I mean, Miami should at least be trying to compete with Clemson, which obviously they are. I do think they are one of the better teams in the ACC. Even outside of Clemson, they recruit very, very well. Love what Manny Diaz is doing with the program. But anyways, they take that loss to Clemson. Then they go on a 5-game win streak. Beat Pitt, Virginia, take a bye week, NC State, Virginia Tech. They take care of those teams, and they get two back-to-back bye weeks. I guess COVID concerns and everything pushed some games back, like North Carolina or whatever. They shut out Duke. Duke's not any good, period, whatsoever. At all, they're literally like the worst team right now in the ACC, in my opinion. They shut them out 48-0. Then North Carolina, I'm surprised this game was that bad. This should say a lot about Sam Howell because Miami had great defense last year. I really think that, and they recruit very well on defense. North Carolina at home, or Miami was at home. North Carolina goes on the road to Hard Rock Stadium to play the Hurricanes. Whoops them 62-26. 62. Miami, come on. Anyway, that's what we had. First loss was to Clemson. They beat Pitt. They ran the table till they got to December. They lose to North Carolina. They make the Cheez-It Bowl, lose by 3 to Oklahoma State. That was a pretty good game. And they lose their bowl game. They go 8-3 overall. They go 7-2 in the ACC. And 2020 was not definitely, for Miami to handle a weird off season and win 8 games, in a pandemic year like last year, I'd give them some credit. Obviously no coach is going to get fired because of last year. I mean, we just saw Jeremy Pruitt get fired, but that's because of this offseason and recruiting violations. But regardless of that, It's just, you know, it's crazy. Um, so what's 2021 hold? You look at the preview here. You open up with my Alabama Crimson Tide. Obviously, a tough game, the defending champs in Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A kickoff. A win like that would be huge, but not likely. After that game, though, it's a pretty favorable schedule for Manny Diaz and the Canes. Yeah, sorry about that. But you look at this schedule. Okay, overall for Miami, it's a pretty darn good schedule for them. They got it pretty easy this year. They don't have Clemson on the schedule, but they could run the table and win the division and end up facing Clemson. Now, will they make the ACC championship? I think it's going to come down to Miami and North Carolina as far as the ACC goes for their side of it. And I just this is your chance, Miami. This really is, and Clemson obviously in the way in the ACC. We know that. Um, this is your chance to win the Coastal. Uh, North Carolina's in the way. You'll take care of the teams. You're better than Virginia, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. They always beat a team they're not supposed to, but I feel like Miami could get that game taken care of. But let's go ahead. Here's what they have upcoming. Open with Alabama in the Chick-fil-A kickoff. Then you got Appalachian State, Michigan State, CCU, or I'm sorry, CCSU. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's the team they're going to whoop up on. Virginia. Then you get a bye week. Perfect timing for your bye week because next week on October 16th, that's when you go to North Carolina in Chapel Hill at Kenan Memorial Stadium. Then you play NC State at Pitt. Keep your eye on that. Georgia Tech at Florida State, Virginia Tech, and at Duke. I do have some questions about teams like Florida State. I think they'll be pretty good under Mike Norvell this upcoming season. I really do. I don't think they're going to be competitive as far as like, oh yeah, they'll give Clemson a run for their money. No, come on. But I do like McKenzie Milton at quarterback. Very talented. He could be the key to the offense. I already wrote an article like a month ago about McKenzie Milton on my blog. Go check it out, ballardsports19.wixsite.com. Overall, this is a favorable schedule outside of Alabama and North Carolina. And obviously, if you were to ask me, and I'm not saying this as a Bama fan, anybody would tell you they got a better chance at North Carolina than they do Alabama. Could they even beat Alabama? Could they even compete? If they do compete, it'll definitely give us an outlook, and maybe we're like, okay, we're estimating Miami a bit, some trap games. Pitt could be a trap game. Michigan State could be. Florida State. I mentioned Mike Norvell, and I mentioned McKenzie Milton, the UCF transfer quarterback that's really, really talented. He comes in. Could be a spark for the offense down in Doak Campbell, but I see three. Here's a breakdown. You got three games that are trap games at Pitt, Michigan State, and at Florida State. Potential trap games. Games that they should not lose, but they probably could. I don't think you lose at Duke. I don't think you lose to Virginia Tech. I don't think Georgia Tech even comes to Miami and beats you. And they better be glad. Miami better be glad they don't have Clemson on here. But then again, if they win the division, they run the table, they got to face them in Charlotte. Potential upsets, really, North Carolina and Alabama. Outside of those, it's favorable. It really is. They're better than Georgia Tech. They're better than Virginia Tech. They're better than Duke. NC State. NC State had an interesting team and had a tough matchup with Clemson a few years ago. We thought it'd be competitive and everything, but Clemson just whooped them. And I don't know. NC State's one of those teams like, yeah, we'll win a few games, make a bowl game, that's it. And anyway, but overall, I look at this Miami and overall for their schedule, I look at it. Outside of Bama and North Carolina, you should have no problem with any other team. Could they beat Alabama? Here's the thing. I say I'm going to mess with Miami fans this offseason. George Teague still has the ball in his hands, and Lamar Thomas is still looking for it. You have not played Alabama since '92. It's been like 18, 19 years. Almost 20 years since these two teams met. I'm excited. I know people are sitting there saying, y'all, Ballard, you're just going to run through them. Bama's just going to beat them like 40 to nothing. I say I don't know that because Miami's fielded some good teams. They're normally good early on. Yeah, sure, they don't get the top tier teams like Bama and Clemson, at least early on in the year. But I still say to start out the season, any given Saturday, man, this is a kickoff game in Atlanta. The Chick-fil-A kickoff. It'll be a 3:30 game to start out. That same weekend, obviously, later that night, the whole, what's it, Duke's Mayo Classic or whatever, which I think is kind of stupid that they have one for Duke's mayonnaise, but that's just the one for Clemson and Georgia. Obviously, that's the bigger game. Um, Miami, if you beat Alabama, and I said this in the Bama preview, and I've said this quite a few times, if you beat Alabama, you better not screw this up, right? It's one thing. Okay, if Bama loses, yeah, as a fan, I'll be upset, but I look at it and be like, you know what? It's the first week of the season. Shake it off, and maybe Miami's going to do something. Please don't lose. Please don't beat Alabama and then end up losing to North Carolina and lose to Pitt and lose a couple games and not even make the conference championship, man. You got to do something if you end up beating Alabama. I don't think they will, right? And that being said, overall, a favorable schedule outside of North Carolina and Alabama. Maybe a team like Michigan State early on in the season gives them a run for their money. And, you know, when I have a hard time picking games, like obviously you have your cupcake, like CCSU Blue Devils. That's a home game for Miami. I'm not 100% sure where that is, but Miami's not that bad of a team. They're going to lose to that. You know what I mean? So, that being said, overall, it's a favorable schedule outside of North Carolina and Alabama. And I mentioned the trap games at Pitt, Michigan State, at Florida State, right? Those could be trap games. Potential upsets if they win these games, Alabama and North Carolina. Overall, man, it's tough. It's tough for me to. This is tough. I see you losing to Bama. I see you losing to Bama, running the table. Here's where I'm stuck, though. I love Sam Howell in North Carolina. They did lose a couple key guys to the NFL. You know, lost a pair of running backs or whatever. Mac Brown's doing great. But I'm going to go with my gut, man. I think Miami could get it done. They come off a bye week. They have a couple cupcakes. Then they get a bye week on October 9th, right? In fact, they actually get two back-to-back bye weeks, the 2nd and the 9th. I'm not sure what's going on the 2nd that they don't. I'm sorry, I see it here, because that week they play on a Thursday night with Virginia. That's, okay, that'll be interesting on a Thursday night, some Thursday night college football. Okay, so that would make more sense here that I'm looking at it. But you get time to prepare here. Not only do you get a bye week before this, but you also get a couple extra days in playing on a Thursday instead of a Saturday. I'm going to take a bold move here and say they go to Chapel Hill and a close game. Remember how it was with North Carolina Clemson a couple years ago, something like that. Maybe in the 20s or something, and they pull it out, and I think they get a win at Chapel Hill. I'm going to take a bold prediction with that. That being said, I'm going to say they go 11-1 with the only loss being to the Crimson Tide. And I think they win their division, go to the ACC title game. 9 times out of 10, Clemson's going to beat them. But maybe. I really don't see them, I really don't see them losing more than Bama and North Carolina. Outside of that, it's favorable. They have the team. They've been recruiting very, very well in the top 15, top 20, whatever the heck. Manny Diaz is doing great. And they really didn't lose a whole lot. They got De'Aaron King back or whatever, and they, man, it's going to be good for them. I think it'll be a good year. And like I said, Miami, if you beat Alabama week 1, you better go big or go home, run the table. Let's see something. Please don't pull an upset week 1 and then crap the bed and go like 8-4, 7-5. Please do not do that. But anyways, I got them 11-1. I think they beat North Carolina. They beat Pitt, Michigan State, Florida State, everybody else. And I think the only loss they drop is to Alabama. They run the table. What happens in Charlotte against Clemson, or whoever comes out of the division, which most likely Clemson, obviously, we'll see. But anyways, I'm sticking to 11-1 for the Hurricanes for 2021. Hey, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching today, guys. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're trying to hit 400. We're getting closer and closer. Just keep trying to build it. Go check out the website, ballardsports19.wixsite.com. If you ever have any questions, hit me up on Twitter at ballardsports, or you can email me, ballardsports19@gmail.com, or obviously you can comment down below on this video. Comment your record predictions for the Miami Hurricanes next year and what they could do. Are they overrated? Am I overlooking anybody on this schedule for Miami? Am I not giving them enough credit? I don't know. But I'm going to stick to 11-1 for them. I think they'll have a good season and run the table, and we'll just have to wait and see what they do. But I love you guys. Do me a favor. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. Remember that always. I love you guys. God bless. Roll Tide Roll. Woo!